Good evening, everyone. You're back for more, which is always a good sign. So just to remind you that this chair yoga session is being recorded. So welcome to session 4 out of 6 of the seated yoga series with me, Gee. So we're going to continue the theme of kind of visiting our energy centers. We started off with the root chakra, which is through our feet, and we've moved up through the sacral chakra, which is really getting to know who we are, our individuality, our authenticity. And then we explored the heart chakra last session, and this usually comes into alignment in our life cycle by the age of 24. So that's when the heart really begins to open. And then after that, we move into the throat chakra. So this is about voicing our truth. So it's located where the thyroid gland is, and it's, you know, our communication center, how we express our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas. It's teaches us a balance between listening and really speaking our truth. And it is our truth because it's our perception of the world from where we resonate. And for me, there's no such thing as right or wrong. It's a case of, well, that's someone's opinion from where they are at that moment in their life cycle. And that's their truth. So it's okay to voice that opinion. So some of the techniques today we're going to be looking at, it's going to be some seated exploration. I'm going to introduce 5 basic poses that I do on a very regular basis daily, just to recharge my vitality, especially those afternoon, you know, when we have that energy surge or that dip in energy. These are great. They're called the Makaho series. And then we're going to go into some floor work with perhaps going into Halasana and shoulder stand before ending in Shavasana. And again, you'll hear the 3 bells, and I shall leave you to retire in Shavasana. So as discussed before, please just move according to the comfort of your own physical body. Please don't move into any pain. If there's any pain, move back and just pause for a while. And really, you know, home into the breath. The breath is the only thing that really keeps us present in the moment. So let's begin. And I'm going to start with some easy techniques to release tension around the shoulder. So hopefully you can see me all. Let's start with standing up. And I'm just going to invite you to lean. So put the chair like this. What I'm doing is I'm placing my left knee onto the chair, bringing the right knee around. And I'm just going to kneel across. So rest my left elbow onto the chair rest, whatever's comfortable for you, whatever that looks like for you. Now I'm just going to allow the right shoulder to fall. So allowing that right shoulder to swing forwards and backwards. Really releasing any kind of tension around that shoulder socket. Just allow the arm to move and let gravity do the work. So I've had a bit of a frozen shoulder for the last 2 weeks, and these techniques have really helped just to release it. And then reverse the rotation, so we're just swinging like a pendulum. And then rocking it east to west, north to south. Just see what that feels like, you know? Where's the tension? Where's the restriction in the movement? Just coming to standing, shrugging the shoulder up, rotating it around, just tuning into the movement. Great, let's repeat that on the other side. So resting the knee, your right knee on the chair, left foot is on the ground, leaning in with your right elbow and dropping the left arm, allowing gravity to do the work while you swing the arm north to south, east to west, and rotate it. And again, just notice the difference where, you know, which shoulder has the most restriction or resistance. Where do you hold the weight or the tension? It should just move naturally. If you want to do it with a bit more depth and intent, then maybe join the breath with that movement. For now, I just want to be free, let it do its own thing. Okay, coming up to standing, just rotating the shoulder socket, really peeling it back, and then the opposite direction, one at a time. Releasing the hands. Just take a seat for a moment. I'm going to just introduce the 5 poses. And again, just prepare yourself so that you're stretching your feet out in front of you and sliding them back against resistance. Placing your toes, so greeting your toes, lifting them off the mat, sinking or rooting the heel into the floor, and then placing the toes one at a time so that they're engaging with the earth. A meeting of body with the earth. Ankles in line with the knees. Let's just massage those thighs inwards. Releasing the sit bones by peeling the skin back from the buttocks, allowing the spine to sit in neutral. Flexing, so let's do a couple of seated twists. You remember, left hand over the right knee. And we're going to turn and look to our right. So pivoting Ooh, and really releasing any tension that we're holding along the spine. Remember, the spine is the sensory center of the body. It's the seat of our emotions. It's where we collect all of the sensory data for the day and hold on to it, process it. So again, let's turn and look towards the left. So as we're pivoting our body towards the left, you're going to turn your head so it's facing forwards. Nice, gentle twist to release anything along that spine. Let's do that one more time. See if we can go a little bit further this time. And back to center. Again, right hand over left knee. Taking your left hand behind the chair and using that to help you pivot from the waist and facing forwards. Really hugging those ribs in as you're turning to get that real extension to the twist. Back to center. We're going to just do a little forward fold. So hinging from the hips, just make sure that you've peeled the flesh from your belly upwards as you hinge forwards, and you release the arms so they fall beside your legs. You can touch your feet or your ankles as you really just take a moment to pause. Breathe into the back of your body, so really expand with the inhale. Your shoulder blades, so they move apart as you inhale. Really feel the space along the bra line separate. It's a great way to release any tension we're holding on to in that rib cage. Pause and then exhale. Release, empty completely. Remember the inhale that we take in fresh air is the moment of undoing. It's when we release, that's when our whole body relaxes. Exhale one more time. And when you're ready, slowly peel yourself upwards to seating again. One vertebra at a time. So you're curling or recoiling up to seated very slowly. We'll do a couple of hip openers, and we're going to bring our left foot over our right knee. Just rotate the ankles, massage the inner arch of the foot. We're going to invite the left foot to sit or hug the inside of the right thigh. So it's going to, if you can draw it all the way up to your pubic bone, brilliant. But if you can't, just rest it wherever it's comfortable for you. If you feel you need another chair or a block to support that knee, you can do, like so. That technique actually helps you release the hip without holding on to any tension. So if you've got tight hips or you've got injury to the knee in particular, this is a really handy technique. And it doesn't matter if you can't bring it to the thighs, it's fine. keep it rested on the top of your knee. If you can bind that foot against the thigh, then that's great. What we're going to do is we're just going to lean in. So use your left elbow to place it on the inner left thigh and just lean into it. So it's like you're giving yourself a bit of a massage. You're releasing the muscles of the thigh by just walking your elbow along that inner thigh. For some of you, you may feel, oh, that's a bit tender. So this is a really important meridian line or energy channel to do with our nourishment to ourselves. So it's related to the earth element and our ability to nourish ourselves. So it relates directly to our stomach and spleen organ. So in yoga, in Ayurveda, in some of the Eastern modalities, we have a slightly different way of viewing the body, separate from the nervous system, the lymphatic system, the circulatory system. There's an invisible realm of the energy circuits. And I suppose the easiest way to describe them are like trigger points, but it's where vitality flows. So just massage down the thighs and then down the lower legs, peeling the muscles of the lower legs away from the bone, down to the ankle, and then releasing it out through the big toe. Bend your knee up towards the chest, so hug the knee in. Place the heel of the left foot on the chair and hug that left knee in towards the chest. If you find that that's difficult from any knee injuries, you can place a tennis ball behind the knee that releases some of the pressure and just draw that knee in as far as you can go towards the chest. Taking a deep breath, releasing that and placing on the floor, just tuning into how that feels, stretching it out, flexing the foot, sliding the heel against the floor. You may want to reach down with the left hand and just hook it underneath the ball of the foot as you get this really nice lengthening and extension from the shoulder as well as the back of the legs. Really nice. And release, drawing that leg in. So let's repeat that on the other side. So lifting the right foot, placing the right ankle over the left knee, tuning into that hip. Is it tighter than the other side? Is there a little bit more resistance? So now you're tuning into, so my right side tends to hold on to a lot more information, perhaps, than my left. Or maybe I carry the load a lot more on the right than the left. So this is where our balancing act comes into play. How can we balance the load carrying capacity through the body by simply tuning into where the resistance is in our body? So now drawing that the right foot against the inner left thigh as we rest that knee. I'm just going to use a yoga block. So I have an injury to the right knee, so I don't tend to push myself in these poses. Take it to the comfort zone. And again, you're going to use the right elbow to massage the right inner thigh. So what we're doing is leaning into it and tuning into how that muscle is feeling. And again, you may come across some really sensitive points along the inner thigh. And then that's where you're tuning into the spleen meridian or the earth meridian. So a good way of nourishing that aspect of ourselves is to make sure that we're getting enough rest and that we're eating breakfast when we're meant to eat breakfast before 9 o'clock, and make sure it's a substantial one. I often tell my clients, eat breakfast like a queen, feast like a queen in the morning. And this really resolves a lot of issues that we have to do with our digestive system. Okay, so let's bring that right knee in towards the chest, rotating the ankles. See how far you can pull that in before we release it. Just release the right knee, extend the right leg. As you press into the left foot, extend the right leg out. And again, just slide your right arm down, hook your hand underneath the ball of the foot. Give yourself a nice stretch. You can rest your left elbow over your left knee as you just tune into that stretch with the right leg. If you really want to get deeper into it, just place your left hand behind the chair so you're hooking onto the back of the chair and really creating a bit of a twist across the torso as you home in. Wonderful. In your own time, just release. And bring your right foot in line with the left foot. Oh, that's nice. So one of the sequences of the Makaho I want to introduce, this one moves into the lung and large intestine. So the way that we're going to tune into this on the seated sequence is you're going to wrap your head, so extend your arms back, hook your hands across, the chair. So wherever it's comfortable for you, could be the seat, could be the back of the chair. And all you're going to do is fall forward. So you're going to hinge forwards from the hips. And as you're hinging forwards, you're extending your arms back. So you're getting this lovely length in the spine and along your arms as you fall forwards. Holding it there. Breathing in, inhale, lift the chest, shrug the shoulders back so that the shoulder blades are kissing one another as you just lift your chest for a lovely heart opening. Look up and just drop your mouth open. Open your mouth. Stick your tongue out, almost like a lion getting ready to roar. So what we're doing is we're just opening our vocal cords. Just draw your chin to your chest as we hinge down a bit more to lengthen a little bit more. Use the breath. So inhale, lift, so shrugging those shoulders again towards the back, lifting the heart, extending your head up, so look up towards the ceiling. Really feel that extension. And what we're going to do is we're just going to fall forwards again. Just drop the arms forwards and allow your head to move towards your knees. If you find that you don't like your arms hanging freely to the sides, you can just place your hands, cross your arms across your knees and place your head on top of your arms so that they're rested, almost like a baby pose. What we're doing is we're just resting your spine. Breathe in. So you're going to expand the shoulder blades, puff up that midline between the shoulder blades, puff it up with the inhale. Release the tension. How big can you grow? Can you lift those wings? Pause for 2 seconds and release. Really feel with the breath your armpits are releasing. So if there's any tension below or beneath the armpits, you should really feel that release with the inhale. So one more time, inhale, big puff up that upper back. And exhale. Just come to a slow move back up to seated position. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is stomach and spleen meridian or channel. So this is the earth element. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to slide our feet back, almost as though we're going to come into kneeling. What I suggest we do is hold on to the chair, the side of the chair, firmly, so you don't fall off or slip off. And then we're going to literally go onto our toes as we slide our feet behind us. So we're bending our knees, dragging our feet behind us. Toes are really pushing into the floor. For some of you, that might be a little bit painful. So just move your feet forwards to wherever it's comfortable. If you can retract a bit more, do so. And then you're going to grab the back of the chair. And we're going to sit up tall. And we're just going to slip or slide the hands back, bringing our head to the top of the seat. And then come back up again. Another way of doing this is resting your elbows onto the seat as you move back. So we're extending, so we're lifting our heart upwards and extending our head backwards. You can rest your elbows onto the chair, the seat of the chair, and rest your neck on the back of the chair. This really opens up the chest and the throat chakra or the thyroid. If you find that that's a bit too, it exaggerates or causes pain at the back of your neck, you can always roll up a towel and place it at the nape of your neck to help with that extension, so it's not too deep. And then just bring yourself up to seated. So that was number 2. Number 3 is the heart. And again, this is very simple. Usually on a seated, when we're sitting on the floor, it's cross-legged. So we cross our legs. But for the seated chair position, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Now, there's 2 ways of doing that. You can either do that on the floor, so the feet are on the floor and the soles of the feet are touching together. With that, what we can do is it widens our knees, so our knees open into a butterfly position. Hook your hips and just make sure that there's no tightness anywhere. We place our elbows between the inner thighs of both legs. So we're just literally crossing our arms together and hooking our elbows between our knees and sitting forwards. So we're hinging from the hips and falling forwards. And then we're going to use the breath to puff up the back of our body as we have done before. So that's number 1, and exhale. Number 2, you can place your hands on the inner ankle. So we're just going to drop our hands. The thumbs are going to rest just above the ankles, and you may find that it's quite a tender spot. And we're just going to hook our hands around there, pressing our elbows into the inner thighs, just against resistance. So we're really just allowing the hips to open a bit more. And then looking up. Inhale. Exhale, release. And coming to seated. The third way of doing that is you can actually hook the feet on to the chair. So you can do cross-legged on the chair, grab your ankles and hinge forward from the hips as far as you can go. So hinge forwards as far as you can go, cross arms, and breathe into it. So with the heart, we're always protecting the heart, and that's why it's beneath the ribs, it's always protected by a hard outer covering. It's on the inside of our body. Inhale, exhale, and release. Coming to seated. Now for the water element, or the kidneys and the bladder, this is more to do with the adrenals. So when we're feeling the fatigue, this pose is great to do, which is forward bend, extended legs. So what I'm going to do, you can do it in 2 ways. You can either extend your legs out in front of you, feet on the floor, and then you can just hinge forward, grabbing, again, the balls of the feet with your hands and extending forward. So you're lengthening, you're feeling the length and the stretch behind the legs, hooking your hands over the balls of your feet, sitting up. So you're lengthening the spine straight across. So you look ahead. If you want, you can drop the head and see how that feels to create a bit more of a length and a stretch. Pull your pelvis, draw your pelvis inwards. Squeeze your PP muscles together and notice how that releases, and it releases tension and also extends that stretch much deeper. In your own time, release. Another way of doing that is if you have a second chair or a stool, a footstool, is place, you could do one leg at a time, place one leg up or both legs up together, seated chair, and extending forward. So hooking your hands under the balls of the feet and just really enjoying that length and stretch. One foot at a time. Just play around with these poses to what suits you. It should be comforting, it should release tension, it should be really enjoyable. Oh, that's really needed. Brilliant. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the liver and gallbladder, which is our spring element, is more of a twist. So we've already done the seated twist. I suppose another way we could improvise with it is if you lengthen, so bring, if you've got another chair, that's great. If not, let's do it this way. So bring your, let's stand up, let's bring the left leg onto the seat. Just place your foot, the left foot, onto the seat. And we're going to place our left elbow onto our left knee. And we're going to pivot, so straighten the right leg so it's in line with the ankle of the right foot. And we're just going to pivot. So use the left hand on the left knee and the right hand on your hip to pivot. You can straighten the left leg so you can really feel that extension and that stretch as we go into a deeper twist. So you can move your right foot so that it's facing 90 degrees forwards as we do this. Turn your right foot 45 degrees as we come forward, hooking that the left foot, just going into a extended stretch. Let's Just repeat that on the other side. Turn this around. So right foot onto the chair, left foot in line with the left hip. Just resting your right elbow onto your right knee as we place our left hand on our hips. And all we're going to do is pivot. Really feel the twist coming from the waistline. Hips should be straight. Feel the glutes engage. Lengthen the right leg and hook. Oh, the right hand over the ball of the right foot for a deeper twist and extension. So those are fairly easy, 5 really easy poses to do. And it really works all of the energy centers in the body, called the Makaho. So let's bring ourselves onto the floor. I'm going to do a few more hip openers. We're going to go into bridge pose, halasana, and shoulder stand. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Okay, so use some props if you need to. You may need a yoga block, or you could use a towel. What we're going to do is just bring our feet resting onto the chair. Prop up onto our elbows. Lift the sacrum slightly as we then come down into a resting pose. So feel the spine feeling supported by the earth. Use your hand behind your neck, place your hand behind your neck and just move the skin, peel the skin of your hairline away. Brush or comb your hair, just releasing any of the day's stories out through the hair. If you find your neck requires a bit more support, you may want to roll up a towel and just place it underneath the nape of the neck so you have a little bit more support. Okay, so let's place the soles of the feet together. So bring them together. As we do so, the hips will the knees will fall apart. And we can just rock. So we're placing our hands on our knees and we're just rocking, massaging the sacrum as we do so. If this is uncomfortable for you, again, you can either fold the mat up, so double fold the mat, or place a towel or a blanket underneath your sacrum. It's a really nice, gentle way of rocking away any sensory overload we have moving through the spine. Okay, so next pose, we're going to hook the arches of our feet. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can either, if you can, place your feet on the edge of the chair, the seat of the chair. And with that, you're going to literally press down with your feet to lengthen and lift your sacrum up into the air. You may need to move closer to the chair in order to do that. So what we're doing is we're lifting our buttocks off of the floor by rooting our feet onto the chair. So make sure that the chair doesn't move, so you may have to place it onto the mat properly. Really lifting, placing your hands behind your back to support that lift. Really root down into your feet, so your legs should be engaged to get that lift. The pressure should not be in your neck, it should be on your shoulders. So there's no tension in the neck as you're doing that asana. That's my chair. And in your own time, just come back down to rest. Just stretch your legs out. Just tune into your body and how you feel. If that's too intense for you, you can take your yoga block, lift your sacrum, and just place the yoga block underneath the sacrum. So place it on the bony protrusion. It shouldn't be painful. And so that's kind of like a mini sacral lift. You can tuck your shoulders underneath, so you're hugging your shoulders underneath to carry the load. Place your hands on the mat, palms down, or if you can grab and intertwine your hands and your fingers underneath your sacrum, you can do that too. Okay, from there, remove that. From that position, we're going to lift our feet off the chair and come into and just straighten them up towards the ceiling. Place your hands underneath your sacrum to give you that lift and support. Bend your knees towards your chest. Inhale. See if you can extend your legs straight up. Exhale. Bring your knees towards your chest again. The weight should be equally distributed in 4 points. The back of the shoulder blades and your elbows. Your neck should not feel any tension. If you are, then please come down to rest. Okay, when we've had enough, just going to roll. So bring your knees to your chest and you're going to roll back down, your sacrum back down to the mat and place your feet onto the chair. Just extend those legs out so that they're in rest position. How was that? Is there any pain anywhere? If you've got pain in the shoulder or on one side of the neck, then just be mindful as to where you're carrying the load. Are you putting too much pressure on one side of the body as you're extending your legs upwards? You may want to place a support underneath your neck to ensure that you're not compressing the neck. So the next pose we're just going to go into is, again, we're going to move into shoulder stand. But this time, taking our legs, extending our legs behind us. So halasana. Two ways of doing this. We can start by having our feet on the chair, lifting our sacrum off, hugging off the mat, hugging our shoulders. So we're hugging our shoulders underneath, placing our hands underneath our sacrum or lower back, lifting our legs straight up, bringing the knees to your chest or just above your brow line, and then extending your legs behind you. If you can bring the feet down so that they touch the floor. It's a wonderful back opening, spinal extension. Really root the toes onto the floor behind your head with this long extension of the legs. When you've had enough, just take your feet off the floor, come into bending the knees, drawing the spine and your sacrum, lowering it back down and placing your legs in resting position on the chair. Oh, that feels good. End with a counter pose. Just lift, peel the sacrum off the floor. Into bridge pose. Breathing into the belly, expanding the belly. Emptying. And just placing the spine onto the mat, one vertebra at a time. You want to do a couple of twists whilst we're here. So place your feet firmly on the floor, knees bent. And we're just going to drop our knees towards the right and extend our left hand out towards the opposite direction. You can either face the hand that's extended, or look towards the opposite side. Use the right hand to hook the left thigh for a deeper twist. Okay, let's come to center. So bring your knees up to center. Let's do the other side. So dropping your knees towards the left as you stretch your right arm out in the opposite direction. Hook your left hand into your right knee. Going for a deeper cross core twist. And just repeat that one more time on either side as we move into Shavasana. Coming into a comfortable position. You can either place your legs on to the chair so it releases the hips, or you can just spread your legs out onto the mat, just placing support underneath your knees. And tune into your breath. When you're inhaling, try not to get too involved with it. Just receive the air passively, detached, as if you are the observer on the outside. Tuning into your body, stretching the feet, relaxing your legs. Using the breath to massage your kidneys. So sipping the air through your nose, directing it to that lower cavity, kidneys. Exhale naturally without pushing the air out. There's a real beauty and ease to this non-action of breathing when we're in a state of observation. New air replaces the empty spaces, filling up the lungs again. When we breathe in, we release. We are relaxed. so that the lungs can receive the new inflow of air. It's like a wave massaging the beach. Imagine a balloon filling up with air and becoming light. Tuning in to the rhythm of your breath. To exhale correctly, tune into the weight of your body sinking into the ground. Allow the eyes to drop to the back of the head, as if looking inwards. Imagine a flower slowly unfolding its petals, one after another, until completely open. Or a tree spreading its branches outwards and upwards. The important thing is that the outflow of breath should expand or welcome a large inflow. It's when these rhythms unite. Inhale, the exhale, and the pause between two breaths, the point of exchange, is when we find the capacity to open our vocal cords and speak or sing our truth. Know that when you want to convey a message with compassion, you can move into that pause. Inhale and sing. Abandoning your body totally to the earth, we can home into the resonance of our heartbeat. And within the stillness, within that silence, sits our truth. What serves your mind? What serves your heart? And what serves the invisible realm, your spirit, your vitality? Connect with your truth and move forward to convey the message of your heart through your voice. Share your perception of the world with the world.